Why was it so difficult to score? What were they doing to kind of make things difficult offensively, or what weren't they doing?
Yeah, well, I thought we got some good shots in the first half. Obviously, we had too many turnovers in both halves, but I thought we had some good shots that didn't go down. But they're a good defensive team. You know, they do a good job of being physical on your cuts and not letting you get, deep position. You know, we just have to be more efficient from an offensive standpoint. And it's tough. Sometimes it comes down to hitting and missing. I think at times that was the case. The other time I thought their defense was just better than our offense.
Matt.
Early on, you turned them over quite a bit. Not being able to convert on the other end.
Yeah, getting them to turn the ball over 10 times in the first half and then only having 20 points. We had to do a better job of converting, and we had a couple possessions there. We just made poor decisions. The one that they actually went to a jump ball, and we actually hit it, and luckily got the ball back. But just getting in the open court and being able to make those plays, you have to be able to, at the worst, get to the free throw line, if you can't score the ball in those situations, and we just didn't. We average, around 11, 12 rebounds, offensive rebounds a game. First half you have one, and there was a putback by Evan. So I thought they did a good job of not letting us get on the glass, and we had to do if you're struggling shooting, you got to do something. Whether you're getting to the free throw line or getting on the offensive glass or scoring in transition, and we just couldn't generate anything.
There's that stretch you got within 9, and then the next 4 possessions were 3 turnovers and a relatively quick jumper. Was that just
Impressive? It was impressive, yeah.
Kind of decision making there?
Yeah, it was decision making. You fight, and that's the one thing when you get down. Like, you're fighting to get close. Obviously you want to fight to win the game, but if you can't get close, you're not going to put yourself in that position. So you're still not even in that mode. You're at a long 3 possession there at 9 points. And then, you have to give yourself a chance. And we just don't give ourselves a chance. You just can't have those empty possessions where you got a bad shot or turnovers. And, now anytime you're turning the basketball over, now they're going to build that lead.
Matt, you guys have played Kyle Young the last 2 years.
Yeah, I wish he was on our team.
Well, he has not put an offensive performance like this together for his career. I'm just curious,
Right.
when you were scouting this team, what you saw from him, and then what you saw from him
Yeah,
tonight.
he gets high praise from me. I physically went and watched him 4, 5 times myself in 2 years, a sophomore and junior year. So I'm a big fan of Kyle Young. So he gets high praise from me, and I always tell them about, guys like that work hard and that put themselves in the position. They run a couple wrinkles to try to get him on the move, driving the basketball. They got us on both of those. He only scored on one of them. But, he's just active. He's a hard-nosed, tough dude, and he's about winning. You can't have enough of, guys like Kyle Young in your team.
It looked like maybe the bench said there was
Even
stuff
though
at
we were appreciative, he shot some threes.
Yeah.
So we were appreciative of that. We didn't like him shooting any 2s.
Okay. It looked like late in the second half, maybe your bench and the fans got into. Is there something that happened there?
That's all right. We handled it privately, which it should be. So when things like that happen, I think sometimes they steal the narrative, and it happened. You guys got to write something. You get tired of writing the same stuff. But the narrative is Ohio State was better than Purdue. So I don't want to get away from that.
You mentioned some of the shots not falling. I guess obviously the ones that you guys get close.
Yeah.
How much does that take out of you basically when you're getting a
It
couple
bothers
right there?
us from a morale standpoint, where, you say just take good shots, stick with it. You give that old cliche that coaches speak with it, but it bothers certain guys. And, you got to be able to – I wouldn't say we're in a place where, you got to make your first couple shots to be productive. But when we do it collectively – a guy gets a good post move, just misses it. A guy goes to free throw line, misses it. You get a layup, misses it. You get a wide open 3, and you miss it. So when we do that collectively, it just seems that we can't build up enough steam. We're saying the right things, we're trying, but we just don't get enough momentum at that. And then we're not good enough defensively to grind it out and score 52 points to win. We're just not. We got to be able to get into the 60s and be able to play. When we won the game at Northwestern, we barely did that, but we got to the 60s. Believe it or not, look at the number. But when we stay in the 50s and we've been on the road, we just got to score the ball better, and we just got to keep working on it. If it was something functional, when you turn the ball over and you don't give yourself a chance, like they didn't play great today. Ohio State didn't. Like they played good enough to beat us, the way we played. but they also had something to do with that. But they didn't play great today. You know, it was one of those games where, like, if, you know, you can make some shots and get some things going, you know, now you're going to give yourself a chance. You know, because sometimes they'll play really well, you know, especially at home, where it's just really hard to beat them here. Today wasn't one of those.
Coach, how do you think Ohio State has adjusted or managed without Carton?
Yeah,
Last
you know, we
5 or
didn't
6
play him with Carton. I've only watched him,
Yeah.
but I've never really scouted him with him. It makes no sense when you're playing somebody without him to watch games with him.
Yeah.
Even though I watched a couple. But for the most part, just tried to watch all of them since he had left. He's a really talented guy. You know, hope, you know, everything works out and he gets back. And we had him in USA Basketball, and he's really good. He's really good. He's talented. He's a special player. But no, anytime you lose that next guy, you know, now other people just has a little bit more responsibility, a little bit more minutes. And so they got a good group. They got good guards, you know, across the board.
Matt, your bench guys, 2 for 16 today, shooting 0 for 6. How much does it hurt just not getting
Right.
sort of spark during the course of this game?
Yeah, you know, we mixed it up just a little bit, you know, from last game, and, you know, had Jihad starting, in which, you know, he gave us, you know, some scoring, 6 from 12 and 15 points, him and Evan. But the bench, yeah, we didn't get much from the bench. It really hurts. You know, just across the board, I talked to our team just now about having 9 guys playing, and then when we won that game at Indiana, like I thought our effort was great, but I thought nobody was great in how they played. But I thought everybody was good, like to average, above average. Nobody was poor. Like, you know, at some point when you play, especially if you're in a role, like, and you come off the bench, like, you got to come in and be solid. Sometimes you're not doing a whole bunch of things, but you're not doing bad things. That's hard sometimes for guys to understand. Like, just, you know, play my role, do little things, and be solid. Then you look at their numbers and they play 15 minutes and maybe they didn't shoot it, or they shot one time, and they don't have that feeling of, like, I helped the team. But as you start to mature, you realize how important that is. We didn't get that tonight. And they're like the game at Indiana, we got that. You know, and we had good balance, and we had guys helping in other areas. We just have to be able to be better collectively.
What do your bigs have to do, or what does your team have to do to help your bigs be more productive?
Well, when you lean on scoring, you know, you want those guys to get, you know, the basketball. You know, Travion is such an unselfish player and such a great passer. He puts those guys in good spots. He allows them to get shots. He allows them to get people in closeouts after he kicks it out, and then they can drive the basketball. So, you know, we like for him to actually be more aggressive when he's one-on-one, and at times he passes it. But I think that's a positive in its own right. And you know, just keep working. And I think when you have balance and guys make some of those shots, it really opens up more things, because now you're in drives, you got dump downs, you know, you got things through your post action and things of that nature.
Matt, is Kyle Young a guy who's hard to prepare for because they don't typically run a lot of stuff for him, but then when he finds himself in positions like he did tonight, he can give you, you know, 10 to 12 points.
Right, no question. You know, he can get some things on. I don't know how many offensive rebounds he had. He only had 1 offensive rebound. He's just so active. You know, he's active. He knows how to play off of Caleb Wesson. He knows how to play off of penetration, whether he's diving behind the defense or just, you know, he just has a good nose for the basketball. I thought the ball squirted free 2 or 3 times today, and he just, you know, he's the guy that's going to get it. And he'd be a good football player, because those guys that play through the whistle in football, that have the physical skills, are just around the ball. And I think that's something you can always learn when you have basketball guys that played football. You know, he's one of those guys that's just around the ball. And, you know, I always challenge our guys when we face somebody like him, you know, just play harder than him. At the end of the day, if you can say you played harder than him, you know, good things are going to happen. But if you don't, you know, you're probably going to lose.
You remind me of Brian Tartle.
A little bit. Brian was more skilled. Brian's a little more theatrical. You know, Kyle just kind of does his job. You know what I mean? He's not a guy raising his hands or pumping his fist. You know, he just goes to the next play. You know, he's just a blue-collar guy. You know, you can't have enough of those guys.
Matt, do you feel like your guys are playing with a sense of urgency?
I feel like everybody's writing a feature on Kyle Young. Jesus. You guys are like coaches, just copying things. Go ahead.
Team playing with a sense of urgency, knowing what's at stake. And
Yeah, they understand. They're not fools. You know, they know about everything. You know, that's what's the difference of coaching somebody today. You know, they know everything. And so, like, you know, go out there and compete. You know, play harder. And I think anytime you get in those situations when we're okay, but when things don't go our way, that snowball comes. As you guys cover us, understand. You just have to be able to fight through that. You know, fight. And so you don't have those 12-4 runs against you. You know, you limit it to 8-4. You know, things of that nature. And but yeah, they're aware of that. And it's what's great about being in the Big Ten is that a lot of times you get in these situations and you're going to play some people that you just got to hold serve with and get the win, but it really doesn't help you. It can only hurt you. Well, that's not the case with everybody's schedule right now. You know, we got a schedule where, you know, every game is a team that's, you know, projected to be in the NCAA tournament today. Doesn't mean they will be. So, you know, we have a lot of opportunities, and that's what you want. Ohio State has a lot of opportunities. You know, they're just a little different than us because they had a better non-conference.
But those things that snowball for you guys, I mean, are you surprised they're still happening as much this late in the year?
No, I'm not surprised. You know, when you have a team and you get going and you have enough data, it's what I talked about the last, you know, game. You know, it can rear its ugly head again. Whatever your shortcomings are as a team and you work on them and you improve on those things, they never totally go away. They never totally go away. You're like, what the heck? You had 3 or 4 games where you just did these things, and it comes back. It's never totally, you know, going to go away. You know, if you don't rebound the ball well and you don't box out well, and then all of a sudden you got 3 games in a row where you do, it doesn't mean that 4th game that you're going to get rebounds and stuff just because in those 3 games, because that's just human behavior. That's the way guys are. Like, okay, we're good in this area now. Let's work on these things, and then that gets neglected again, and now you go back to the drawing board again. But coaches are always trying to prevent that. So, you know, you just try to, you know, do your best and try to control the things that you can control. All right. Thanks, guys.